All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another NBA offseason video. Although the NBA offseason will not be lasting for long, opening week is next week. We're going to be talking about win projections for this season. We're going to talk about roster changes, coaching adjustments coaches are going to have to make, injuries, new players on new teams, and all that good stuff. So if you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have any opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So yeah, we are going to be talking about from left to right the Houston Rockets, the Dallas Mavericks, the San Antonio Spurs, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Memphis Grizzlies. I have a lot of thoughts on this on this group of teams. I have been doing this in divisions, and it's worked out pretty well. All these videos have been like 40 minutes when I don't want them to be 40 minutes, but they just end up being 40 minutes. Um, I have a whole playlist about my predictions and what I think teams are going to do this season. If you want to check that out, I'll put a card in the top right corner. Click it, it will take you right to the playlist. You can watch my whole playlist about the West and the East. And yeah, this part there's a lot of young teams, specifically two young teams, the Mavericks and the Spurs. Um, I could talk a little bit and project how good some of these players are going to be in like 5 years from now. I'm strictly talking about next season or this season, starting next week, and what they are going to do for their teams this season. So this isn't an indictment on how good they're going to be for the rest of their career. It's just about this season. So Let's just jump right into it, man. I've tried recording this a couple of times and I haven't gotten it right. So we're here. The first thing I want to talk about is the Houston Rockets. They are projected to win 52 games this season. And I'm going to read from my notes here. I have some notes. I have some personal thoughts. We're also going to go over the rosters, the full rosters. I have them up. We'll get to them throughout the course of this video. Just be patient. Be patient. Um, Houston Rockets, one of the best roster changes in a long time, brought in a lot of new guys, but they all fit the system defense and pace. Some of them are above average 3 point shooters, which is really good for this team. It's not something they lacked last year, but something like there weren't a lot of guys like, oh, one guy's having a bad night, let's pull him, let's put somebody else. And there was a lot of plug and play. There was just like, well, there's Jalen Green, and then there's Dylan Brooks who hits the occasional three. If one of their players they've gotten this offseason does not shoot the three ball well, they're incredible at getting downhill. The injury to Fred VanVleet isn't the best and is going to test this team's depth early, but Ime, sorry about that, I had the hiccups. Ime is a great coach who I love, and I think this team at its worst is going to maintain where they were last year in the standings, which was basically around 50. KD is one of the most obvious needle movers, top left of your screen. Um, is one of the most obvious needle movers of all time. He fixes a lot of the Rockets' offensive problems that they had last year, and is going to have his own defensive responsibilities lowered because of the caliber of defenders the Rockets have around him. Um, this is all great stuff. Um, Watching them last night, there's some preseason games that have been played. I've had a chance to watch a couple of them, and they played the Atlanta Hawks last night. Kevin Durant did not play. Ahmed Thompson did not play. Alperen Sengun did not play. But it gave a chance to show some of the other guys on this team. And when I was watching the game, and I think I missed the starting lineups. I was like it was like 2 minutes into the game, and there was like 10 minutes left in the first quarter. They're like Josh Okogie, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. They do have Josh Okogie, and then you start thinking of all the other names, and obviously the production crew that was doing the game put up all the rosters and everything, and you're like, oh my god, this team has so much depth. Because like going throughout the course of the offseason, like oh they had this guy, they had this guy, and then it goes like 2 weeks without adding anybody, and then it's like oh yeah they had this, and this guy, and to look at the roster they have here, and this is probably gonna be the most times I've said I like this player about any team because I really like a lot of the players they have on this team. Um, Going through a couple here, or not going through a couple, going through all of them here. Tari Eason, really like him. Jabari Smith, really like him. Ahmed Thompson, I'm a huge Ahmed Thompson fan. Reed Shepard, TBD, didn't really get a lot of burn last year, his rookie year. Alperen Sengun, really like him. Steven Adams, really like him. Jae'Sean Tate, sort of a question mark at times, but good enough. Kevin Durant, obviously, we all know who Kevin Durant is. Fred VanVleet out for the season, so nix him. Um, Aaron Holiday, good stuff from Aaron Holiday over the last couple years. Can be hit or miss, but I think he's going to hit in the system. Dorian Finney-Smith, I think Dorian Finney-Smith is injured to start the season as well. If I can, no, it says he's healthy. Yeah, okay. I guess I heard wrong. I thought he was injured. Um, Dorian Finney-Smith, the vet Jeff Green, um, Clint Capella. They have a lot of centers here. Um, JD Davidson um, played last night. He's on a two-way contract. He looked really good. He looked like incredible last night. Um, I I like all these players, man, and the combinations they can run when obviously because of the injury to Fred VanVleet, who is going to be their starting point guard, um, is a huge blow, but it's gonna have to get done by committee. And I'm a big proponent of, well, let's just throw Ahmed Thompson at the one and see what he can do. Um, he's obviously the best point of attack defender on the team. Yeah, but the best point of attack defender. Yeah, yeah, I would say that. Um, and just see what happens, and run really big, because Ahmed Thompson. Well, let's see, Ahmed Thompson is. Let me zoom in here so I can see it. Ahmed Thompson is 6'7", so you'd run a 6'7" point guard, right? But a lot of people are like, oh well, let Reed Shepard get some run. He didn't really get a lot of playing time last year. See what he can do. And I was like, I don't know about Reed Shepard. Reed Shepard's kind of you know. I haven't heard a lot of great things about the competition he's played against. Before the NBA, he's not really NBA ready. And last night against the Atlanta Hawks, he looked NBA ready. And I'm prepared to eat my words all season. If Reed Shepard can earn the starting spot, and display a lot of the things he did last night throughout the course of the season, defense, his strength is better. Um, his shot diet is a little bit better. I think that's a huge question mark of Reed Shepard is Reed Shepard's not going to have the ball a lot. Kevin Durant's going to have the ball. Ahmed Thompson's going to have the ball. When Tari Eason's in the game, Tari Eason's going to have the ball. Obviously, the offensive hub when Kevin Durant's not in there, and the offensive hub all of last year for this team was Alperen Sengun. But you don't want Alperen Sengun taking a lot of the shots. You want him to be a facilitator and picking the times he takes his shots. Um, versus guys like Kevin Durant and Ahmed Thompson, who could just basically take a shot whenever they want. Um, I think Reed Shepard developing into more of a facilitator is the route he needs to go in order to earn a spot on this team. But him being able to score isn't a bad thing at all. That's never a bad thing. When your primary prerogative is to score, and then your backup thought is let me pass, that's good. But you need to flip those on these sorts of teams. Um, let's circle back to the wins here. The win total, the win projection here. Also quickly, I want to talk about the defenders on this team. Like I mentioned, um, Kevin Durant having to play a bit more. I want to say harder defense, but more reliable defense throughout the course of his time in Phoenix. Um, wasn't the best look, especially since he's at an older point in his career. You want guys to be able to take the other defensive responsibilities. The good defenders on this team, Tari Eason, um, Ahmed Thompson, Steven Adams is good down low. He's good in some switches. Um, Dorian Finney-Smith, Josh Okogie, Clint Capella. Good. Clint Capella's a great rim patroller. He's a great rim protector. Um, I really like Josh Okogie as a defender. I like Ahmed Thompson as a defender. I like Tari Eason as a defender. I did not mention Jabari Smith because Jabari Smith does get burned on some of these switches that he gets into. He's a good rim patroller as well. Um, I don't know if I'm 100% convinced he can keep his hands to himself. Um, his fouls are a bit questionable at times, but I think that's just because he's on a team with these other good defenders, and they make him look worse because they're so much better of defenders. You know what I mean? Like he's not a bad defender. He's just surrounded by even better defenders. So whenever he makes a mistake, you're like, ah man, this guy would have made that mistake. So no disrespect to Jabari. I like Jabari a lot, but um, maybe his role being a bit smaller and him having more energy on defense is gonna help him be a better defender. Um, Back to the win projections. 52 wins. 52 wins is literally the exact same number they won last year. So, like I said, if they can just maintain that, I know there are a lot of expectations that Kevin Durant like changes this team overnight, and they're like a 65, almost 70 win team by some metrics, by some people. I don't want to put that on them. I think as good of a coach as Ime is, the Fred VanVleet injury does put a little wrench in the machine. Even though Fred's probably the worst defender on this team, um, you would hope that maybe his offense would carry. And he's an NBA champion. He knows what to do. And it's sort of Kevin Durant. Who are the older guys on this team? Kevin Durant, Clint Capella, Jeff Green, Dorian Finney-Smith, Aaron Holiday, um, Adams, and yeah, the old guys are going to have to carry and mentor a lot of these younger guys to show what it is to win. Because this team hasn't gone far, and this is the first time this team is actually assembled like this. It's going to be like this. This window is only open for 2, maybe 3 years, and 2 years counting this one and next one. So this year and next year are going to be huge years. Um, I'm not going to put the pressure on them to win more than 55 games. I think 52 is perfectly fine. I don't be surprised if it went up by 2 or 3 games, purely because Kevin Durant's there, and there's some games probably from last year they could have won if they had a primary scorer, who could take the ball and just put it in the basket. But I'm not gonna rush this team and put pressure on this team to get to a crazy amount of wins. I think this is exactly where they need to be. I think the West is gonna be so much tougher. I think if they can get to the 2 or 3 seed, just stay in that ballpark and get home court advantage, and you get to play some lowly freaking team like I don't know, like the Kings or something, or the Grizzlies. We'll get to that later. I think that's a great place to be, and you can have an easy first round. Um, I'm not really concerned about the injuries. I think the load off Kevin Durant defensively is going to be immense. I think a lot of his injuries have been on the defensive end. Funny enough, of recently, like getting his foot stepped on, like backpedaling and like tweaking his whatever, his knee or whatever, you know. So him having that load distributed around all these other great defenders is going to be great. And last thing I'll say here before we move on is I can't wait to see the options they're going to run out here. Some of these lineups are going to be absolutely nuts, and it's funny enough. A lot of these lineups in throughout the Texas teams are going to be crazy some nights, and you're going to see the starting graphic on like Instagram or Twitter, and you're like, "What? They're running what out?" It's going to be nuts. Um, Moving on here. Let's move on. Let's move on. Um, Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies. Man, oh man. I can't describe how concerned I am about this team. Um, Jaren Jackson Jr., number 13, bottom right. Actually, he's not going to be number 13 next year. He's going to be number 8. I just remembered that. Um, Projected to be out for the first few weeks. Some people think he's going to be ready for opening day. I haven't seen anything that says he's going to be ready. I don't think he's played a preseason game if I've been paying attention enough. Um, I don't think he's gonna be. I think he's at least gonna be out like the first week, like the first, maybe just like the first 4 or 5 games, maybe. We'll see. If he shows up on opening night and he's there, I'll eat my words. But that's what I've been hearing is he's not gonna be ready for opening night. But he's not gonna be out for a long extended period of time. He had his surgery months and months and months ago. It's just about the recovery time. Ja Morant, number 12, already being out. Um, that news broke a few days ago. I forget what the injury was. Let me see. Let me look it up for you guys. I forget what I think it was. Ja Morant injury. Let's see. Ja Morant. We sprained his left ankle. That's lovely. In practice on Monday. Jeez. So this isn't even like a week old. So yeah, he sprained his ankle. Is he gonna play? I don't know. I don't like that he's already injured. I don't like that that's an ankle injury. That never bodes well when you just tweak your ankle like just sort of suddenly. Don't like that. Zach Edey already being out, um, and being out and could be out till December. Their starting center just being out, not great. This is a disaster already. This is such a disaster. And like you watch stuff from like a month ago, people talking about this team, and this is why I sort of waited to do my my preview of the season, because I was like, somebody's gonna get injured. We're gonna have more concrete timetables on some of these guys. We're gonna know when they're gonna be back. We're gonna know who's gonna be back, who's not gonna be back. This is why when you listen to that stuff from other people, oh, the Grizzlies are gonna sneak up on people. They're gonna be good next year. I've never believed in the Grizzlies. I don't think a good playoff team can be built around Ja Morant. And some people are infatuated with Ja Morant. Some people love Ja Morant. I like his shoes. I think his shoes are great. Everything else about him, the way he plays, the stuff he says, I'm not the biggest fan. Call me a hater. I don't care. Um, I don't think he's a. People are like, oh well, you look at the numbers when they're all healthy. Riddle me this: when are they all gonna be healthy again? When? Show me when. Not at the beginning of the season. I'll tell you that right now. Um, let's see here. Oh, as a Jaren Jackson Jr. fan, myself personally, I've been waiting for him to take another leap, and he already has a Defensive Player of the Year under his belt, which is great. But I need an offensive leap. It hasn't happened. He can't really sail the ship without Ja Morant, even though this team is Jaren Jackson Jr.'s team. You never hear about Jaren Jackson Jr. being in trade rumors. It's always Ja Morant being in trade rumors, especially when they hit the low lows of the midseason and they're looking real bad and Ja's injured or Jaren Jackson Jr. is out or the team's sinking and it's Taylor Jenkins' fault from last year and whatever it is. You never hear Jaren Jackson Jr.'s name. It's always Ja Morant who is getting traded. um, the roster is the roster is what it is. Some of the guys who have shown flashes over the last couple years, GG Jackson. We'll get to the rest of the roster in a minute. Um, they're going to need to show up even more. Um, you're not going to be able to make up the presence of Ja Morant. You're not going to be able to make up the stuff that Zach Edey does. The little stuff, the screens, the presence down low, but you are going to be able to get the rebounding. It's going to be a group rebounding effort. I think you still have. Let me see here, bro. I feel so bad for this guy. Where is he? Brandon Clark. I feel like I haven't seen Brandon Clark play basketball in like 3 years. Um, even though we played 64 games last year, I feel like I haven't seen him play basketball. He's gonna need to step up. I like Brandon Clark a lot. Um, their coach, who's their coach this year? I forget. He mid-season coach. I forget. I know I can see his face. I just can't remember how to say his name, so I won't say his name. Their coach is fine. He's going to be working with scraps to begin the season with. Um, if they get in a deep hole early on in this season, it might be over before it even starts. And this is my hot take. I haven't done a lot of. I don't think I've done a single hot take in this series of videos. I think the Memphis Grizzlies are going to be a playing team. I don't think they're gonna get to this. They're projected 40 wins this season, by the way. I don't think they're gonna get to that projection. If they do, it's going to be that the West win totals as a whole are going to be up, and 40 wins won't get you in the playoffs. I think that is also entirely possible. Is that the win total for some of these teams in the West are going to be so high that like these middle of the pack and bottom of the pack teams aren't going to be able to get to that total, and they're just gonna be stuck in the play-in anyway. Not just because they're bad, just because that's the way the season is gonna go. um, let's see here. Yeah, so playing team, not yeah, like I'm reading the exact same thing I just said. Um, I said this is crazy. I said somewhere mid 30s, high 30s. So not 40 wins. Again, not 40 wins. Um, let's get into the roster here. This is an interesting roster. Um, when I do these videos, I try not to look at the roster. Yeah, I try to go off of memory. Try to remember what happened this off season. Try to get my brain moving. And when I look at these rosters, I'm sometimes really shocked about who's who's on these teams. And we'll go through some of these guys here. Um, some of the guys I've already mentioned. Ja Morant, John Conchar, Brandon Clark, Vince Williams. Vince Williams is a guy who could take a step as well. Like I mentioned, some of these guys, Vince Williams, Gigi Jackson, Jalen Wells, literally these three in order are going to have to take a leap. Jalen Wells, um, promising stuff from Jalen Wells. A lot of people like him. I like him too. Zach Edey, injured right now. Here's a name that I forgot was on this team. KCP, Contavious Caldwell Pope, two-time champion, one time with the Nuggets, one time with the Lakers, NBA champion, has been sent to purgatory in Memphis. I feel so bad for KCP. Hopefully, he can revive his career. I mean, this is year what 12 or 13 for him. Yeah, so Scottie Pippen Jr. gonna need to take another step. Um, Ty Jerome is here. I like Ty Jerome a lot. I don't know what their starting lineup is gonna be opening night. Maybe it sounds crazy. Maybe Ty Jerome. I like Ty Jerome a lot. I don't know. It depends. Scottie Pippen Jr., Jaren Jackson Jr., Santi Aldama's here. Santi Aldama's okay. Jock Landale's on this team. Forgot he was there. Um, Olivier Maxine's Prosper. I like him a lot. He's on a two-way deal. Maybe he gets a call up. We'll see. And Cedric Howard. A lot of people like Cedric Howard out of Washington State. I think he has Washington State, Eastern Washington, and Wilmette University. So I don't know where he came out of, but a lot of people like Cedric Howard. He doesn't even have a picture. That's how new this guy is. He doesn't even have a picture. Um, yeah, so we'll see what happens. I don't have a lot of faith in this team. This team, their fans are like adamant. Like if you listen to any Grizzlies like fan, they're like, this team's gonna be good. Trust me. When Ja comes back, when we're all healthy. Nah, it ain't happening. It's not happening this year, guys. Sorry, it's not happening. Moving on here. Let's move on to a team that I feel a lot more confident about, but not too much more confident about, but confident enough. Moving on to the San Antonio Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs are projected 44 wins this season. Um, One of my more favorite teams coming into this season. The overall collective of talent is super interesting. Lots of guards, some veteran depth from last season, and some acquired in the offseason. I think this team. I think this team has moves to make if things don't start off correctly. We won't get to that. We'll go with the team that they have. We're not gonna say it's already done. They need to trade this guy. We're not gonna do that. I'm just mentioning it. They probably have one more move to do. Um, let's see here. Um, or if they don't want to do a move, I think they're going to use this season to gauge what some of these players actually are. We'll go through the players in a little bit. Um, it's not my biggest worry, but most people's biggest worry about this team is Victor Wembanyama, bottom left of your screen. Yes, bottom left. Um, needs capital, all caps, needs to play full season. Um, I think he can do it. Um, this year, I think this is the year he starts putting it all together with his talents, from all levels, from a three-level scoring perspective, from reading the floor, from rebounding to defense. He's already a great defender, but I think just stacking competitive years and multiple seasons of like 70 plus games is good for helping your defense as well. Um, I think I think it's just gonna happen. He's gonna put it all together this season. That's the bottom line. But we're not here to project what he can do or what he could do. We're here to talk about what he can do, and I think he's a really talented player, and I'm not worried about his health. I think if this year goes wrong and he's not healthy, then I'm gonna start worrying about it. But like he was not benched. They took him out for his rookie season. Um, like he only played a certain amount of games because they were tanking again. Then he had the blood clot thing this past season, so you can't predict that. Um, None of these are like chronic injuries or like he has foot problems, he has ankle problems, he has knee problems. They're just like incidental things. Um, yeah, let's keep going here. Um, with De'Aaron Fox being out for an extended period of time to start the season, Vic is going to have to lead this group of young guys early, and hopefully they can get off to a good start. They have a lot of they have a lot. There's like I said, there's a lot of stuff on this team that like I'm like there's a lot there's like a move to be made here, and this is about next season, but in my mind I can see what the Thunder did from a few years ago, where they had Shea, they had J Dub, they had Chet, they had a bunch of these young guys, they had Josh Giddey, and sometimes you have to sacrifice one of these guys to make room for these other guys to flourish. And the Oklahoma City Thunder said, Josh Giddey, you're a cool floor general, but you're not what we need. Let's get you out of here. And they sent him to Chicago. I think that's what this team is eventually going to be. There's going to be a time, might not be this year, might not be next year, might be the year after that, where they look at the talent and they say, well, there's not enough shots to go around. There's only one basketball. Victor has taken that step. Maybe De'Aaron Fox isn't on this team anymore, you know. You're going to have to make a decision between Castle, Vassell, Johnson, let's see, Dylan Harper. Like, there's just so much talent on this team. You're gonna have to like sift through, and I think this team is gonna have to really try to figure that out soon, because this has to be a competitive team soon, or you're gonna be left in the back. Let's go through the roster real quick. I'll go through the players I like as we go through this. Jeremy Sochan. How do you say it? Let me see how you say it. Everybody says it differently. Sohan, Sohan. That's how it's phonetically spelled on Basketball Reference. So that's how I'm gonna say it. Sohan. Jeremy Sohan. He's okay. He doesn't show me anything that I'm like, wow, let's keep this guy. He's a gem. Keldon Johnson. Maybe. I don't know. Going into year, damn, Keldon Johnson's going into year 6 or 7. Wow, wow. Okay. Victor Wembanyama, obviously the star of the team. Harrison Barnes, vet. Julian Champagnie. I like Julian Champagnie in moments. I don't know if he's like my favorite player on this team. Devin Vassell, another guy similar to Keldon Johnson. I'm like, I don't know. Kelly Olynyk, really good. Um, some of the veteran depth they brought in the offseason. Stephon Castle, really good rookie year, back to back rookie of the years for the Spurs, and Victor and Stephon Castle. I really like Stephon. Carter Bryant, who I really, really praised in my Summer League video from a couple months ago. De'Aaron Fox out to begin the season. Luke Cornett, like Luke Cornett a lot. NBA champion Luke Cornett. Jordan McLaughlin. Lindsey Waters, former Warrior. Shout out Lindsey Waters. And then just a bunch of guys. You got Harper. Harper's up here as well. And then Bismack Biyombo, the veteran Bismack Biyombo. I do want to mention something. I did watch a preseason game where Victor Wembanyama did play and Luke Cornett played, and they had them playing together. And surprisingly, I didn't hate it. I actually really like the Luke Cornett Victor Wembanyama front court. That's Luke Cornett 7-2, and that's Victor Wembanyama 7-3. They haven't updated this. Apparently, Victor Wembanyama is 7-5, and some people even saying he's not 7-5. He's lying. They're lying. He's 7-7. So I can neither confirm or deny this. I've never seen Victor Wembanyama in person, but apparently he's not even 6'3". He's not even 6'5", or 7'5", 7'3", 7'5". He's 7'7", which I could believe. I could definitely believe that, especially with shoes on. Um, let's get back to the win total here. 44 is a bit wild, but if everything goes right, and even if Fox isn't back right away, I think this team is young enough to sneak a few wins in on high caliber teams early on. Their offense on the back of Victor and Stephon Castle and some of these other guys that are going to pitch in. Like Harper's going to pitch in, obviously. Johnson's a bucket. Let's see here. Um, Johnson's a bucket. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Again, this is if everything goes right. Um, I think what's really going to be interesting is how overwhelming some nights Luke Cornett, Victor Wembanyama, or Bismack Biyombo, if he's going to get a run, and Victor Wembanyama, or Victor Wembanyama, and they run small. Um, some of the stuff they're going to run is incredible. Their coach, second year, first year technical head coach, second year coaching this group of guys. Very promising, very promising. We'll see what he can do with a true full season as the head coach. Um, let's move on here. Second to last team um, of this series, or of this video, pardon me. Um, the New Orleans Pelicans, man. Oh boy. New Orleans Pelicans, center of the bottom of your screen, number 3, Jordan Poole, number 1, Zion Williamson. Um, I've tried my best not to say, oh, I don't know about this team, because that's sort of a cop out. But this is the second time I'm going to say it. This is another team. I forget who I said this about before that. I don't really know what to think about them this year. um, year after year, I kind of get my hopes up. But this year, I think we all have tempered expectations. I like a lot of their guys, especially their wings, Herb Jones and Trey Murphy. I always get them confused. I like that duo of wings. They brought in Jordan Poole, former Warrior. That trade included CJ McCollum, so CJ McCollum's no longer on this team. Jordan Poole is taking his spot. Saw a lot of good stuff in preseason from Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is a creative and shifty guard who can go on absolute heaters. Like he can go for 30 easy in like two quarters. It's crazy. Um, Especially with this kind of like group where like there's a lot of paint presence and there's a lot of downhill threat with Zion and a lot of these other guys. Jordan Poole's gonna get wide open shots. He's gonna get the chance to be creative as well with the ball in his hands, but he also knows how to move off ball. And I think the chance to move off ball again, like he did when he was a Warrior, is a part of Jordan's game that made him special was being able to do that. And he got to learn from Steph Curry, got to learn from Klay Thompson how to come off these pin downs, how to come off these screens, how to use ghost screens, how to do all this stuff. Running the baseline back and forth, and run to the top, run back, and then run to the other side. Like, it's incredible what he can do. Um, I'm not the biggest Jordan Poole fan, but I realize the talent that he has. And I think he's sort of reached the peak of his powers, which is, I'll say, scary in a good way for this team. Um, Another Warrior from a Warrior, although he will be missed through the beginning stretch here, is Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney was acquired in the offseason um, for the Pelicans. He's going to miss the first couple weeks. I think it was 4 to 6 weeks, which is awful. I really like Kevon Looney. I wish him nothing but the best. He was a dog. He had playoff games with like 20 rebounds and like 5 points. He was a real hardworking player. Um, I think they can cobble something together to get out to a decent start. Looney will play a big part on this team when he is healthy, when he comes back. The biggest thing for me, no pun intended, is Zion, number one, like actual number one on your screen. Is he going to be healthy? And has he actually slimmed down? Is he actually the lightest he's ever been in his professional career? He was pretty light in college, but I don't think he's ever going to get back down there. I think so. I think he visually looks the best he's looked as an athlete in the NBA. I'll say that he visually looks slim. He visually looks healthy. He looks strong. He doesn't look like I won't insult the man. Um, I think if he can stay away from these knickknack injuries and put together a healthy season, it doesn't even need to be a good statistical season. Just playing the whole season and being present game after game, night after night. And obviously, very few players play all 82. If he can get around low ballpark 65 to 75 games, I will be happy. I will be happy personally. Just him being there is just such a difference maker. Like I said, such a threat vertically for lobs, getting put back rebounds, such a threat in transition, off screens, diving in, all this stuff. I think it changes the team changes drastically when he's not out there. I think him and Jordan Poole are going to be a great duo. Um, He just needs to play. Um, let's run through the roster real quick before I give my final thoughts on their win projection here. All right. Oh, I'm already seeing some names I forgot was on this team. All right. Again, I'm gonna run through the names and I'll say who I like and who I'm like about. Jordan Poole, really like Jordan Poole. Jordan Hawkins, need to show me something, bro. It's year 3. Time's a tick. You need to show me something. Herbert Jones, like him a lot. I dead ass forgot DeJounte Murray's on this team, coming off an Achilles injury. No thoughts on DeJounte Murray. Um, just play, I guess. Yeah, just play. Yeah. Yves Messi, love Yves Messi. Missy, pardon me, Missy, Yves Missy. Um, good center. Probably the person that benefits the most from Kevon Looney being out. Um, Sadiq Bey, like Sadiq Bey. Do I love him? Maybe on this team as the lone point of attack defender, because like we don't know what Dejounte Murray is, or is Dejounte Murray gonna return back well from an Achilles injury? I don't know. Um, Sadiq Bey, Herbert Jones, where is he? Trey Murphy are your point of attack defender, so you got 3 of them, which is good. Um, Jose Alvarado, it's year 5, man. Um, time's ticking, brother. Time's ticking. You can't just be this small, scrappy guard who defends guys. That it gets you paid the first time. The second time around, you're gonna need to show me something else as well. Zion, obviously, like we mentioned, Derek Queen, who they traded the weird draft night thing where they got him. I don't know how I feel about Derek Queen. Derek Queen feels like another Zion Williamson who is he in shape? Is he not in shape? Is he like what is he? How does he fit with Zion is the question. If Zion is your main guy, right? Is your main star? What is Derek Queen? Can Derek Queen take a backseat to a guy like that? I don't know. Jeremiah Fears also here. Don't know too much about Jeremiah Fears. Kevon Looney, like I said, out. Jaden Springer's on this team. Okay. Um, and yeah, they just get a bunch of guys. Bryce McGowan's 2-way contract. Trey Murphy's here, like I mentioned before, like him a lot. Born the same year, nice. Um, yeah. So, oh, I forgot to mention this. Coach Willie Green has never been under 30 wins when the team is healthy or not tanking. He's always been above 30 wins. I think the lowest he's gotten is 36 in his tenure, when everybody's healthy, or just like one star's healthy at least. Um, I trust him. The thing is, should we trust the medical staff to keep this team healthy? That is the penultimate question. Is this medical staff, man, year after year, it's always something. It's always something. They can't seem to keep these guys healthy. Um, I could run through a list of guys. Jose Alvarado pops in my mind immediately. One of these guys, Murphy or Herbert, was injured at some point. Forget who. Um, yeah, I don't know why I just brought the vibes down. I'm so sorry. I just worried about this medical staff. The medical staff makes me worried. um, let's move on here. Last team of the West. Um, the Dallas Mavericks, a projected 41 wins this year. Um, such a wild team to finish off the Texas teams. Um, this team is loaded with good talent and a coach who just got an extension and the projected rookie of the year this year. The combination of that, the combination of that has been obvious in preseason, and some of the projections for the starting lineup pique my interest a lot as well. Um, I like personally, I like positionless basketball. I like when you can sort of just run the best players out there and not have to worry about them defensively. They have a lot of great defenders on this team. Um, seeing almost 3 to 4 bigs out there at the same time is going to be wild. With the ability to play switchable defense is going to be great. The offense is going to be interesting. How much D'Angelo Russell is there, because D'Angelo Russell is sort of the Kyrie Irving stand-in for beginning half of the season here. Um, Anthony Davis is obviously going to be number two, or Anthony Davis is obviously going to be number one. Is Cooper Flag going to be number two, or like where his shots coming from? I liked what I saw in preseason a lot. Him getting downhill, him getting offensive rebounds, him getting fed lobs. Even if he makes them or misses them, at least he's attempting to catch the lob and put it in the basket. Um, I think as the season goes on and players have hot and cold months, I mean, you have two of the hottest and coldest players of the last like 5 years in Klay Thompson and D'Angelo Russell on the same team. So there's going to be months where it looks rough, where the shooting just isn't going in. Um, we'll get through the roster in a little bit. um, I think the shot structure throughout the course of the season will change night to night, and Jason Kidd will just put the ball in the hands of whoever's hot. And I think Anthony Davis has the likelihood to be hot a lot of the nights more than any of these guys because Cooper's going to be still figuring out some of these things. Like I said, D'Angelo Russell, Klay Thompson, um, not the not the hottest players they used to be. They can go on like weeks where they're just super cold and go on weeks where they're super hot. Um, let's talk about the roster. Let's see here. Who they got? Who they got? Like I said, one of the more interesting rosters after the Luka Doncic trade, full off season to recollect, reconvene some talent. I did not even mention Derek Lively. I like Derek Lively a lot. I just I don't know where his shots are going to come from. Is my worry because they don't. There's not a real point guard on this team, and some people like don't put the ball in Cooper Flag's hands. Let him do whatever he needs to do. Let him be like a Swiss Army knife. I'd rather put the ball in his hands personally, and just let him figure it out. Um, Derek Lively's probably going to suffer the most. I don't think he really cares about his shots though. Dwight Powell's still here. Anthony Davis, the star. PJ Washington. Mm, I've never been impressed with PJ Washington. Caleb Martin, good acquisition. Klay Thompson, former Warrior, shout out. Najee Marshall. I think Najee Marshall needs to show me a thing or two. Show me a thing or two, Najee Marshall. I'd really like to see it. With the abundance of shots that they might be able to go around, I'd like to see something. Max Christie still here. Jaden Hardy, Daniel Gafford, Cooper Flag, number one overall pick. Kyrie Irving out for the foreseeable future. We'll see when he comes back or if he comes back. I don't know. Dante Exum is still here. I believe he is fully healthy. Um, D'Angelo Russell also here. And the feel good story of the offseason, at least for Mavericks fans, bringing back in, I won't say a fan favorite at the time, but now retrospectively a fan favorite looking back on it. Um, the number 9 pick in the 2017 draft, drafted by the Dallas Mavericks after a journey away from the team, Dennis Smith Jr., um, back in the fold for some reason to fill a roster spot. Um, he's bounced around a lot. Um, New York, notably Detroit, pit stop. Portland, also sort of a pit stop. Uh, Charlotte, and then back in Brooklyn last year, and this year returning home to the team that drafted him in the Dallas Mavericks. I was never the biggest Dennis. Well, I'll say this: I was a Dennis Smith Jr. fan um, when they drafted him, and then throughout the course of his career in Dallas, I was like, I don't really know. And then when Luka got there, I'm one of the biggest Luka fans you'll ever meet. I was like, move aside, Dennis Smith Jr. Luka Doncic is here, and guess what? I was right. Luka Doncic was the truth. He was the truth, but Luka Doncic is no longer there. Dennis Smith Jr. has gone on his journeyman journey, has been across the NBA, knows the business, knows what's going on, knows his role, and I think he's learned a lot. And I think he's going to be good for this team. I think if things go bad, this is crazy, right? Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. If things go bad, right? If things go bad with like D'Angelo Russell, right? And then maybe like Max Christie isn't really ready at the beginning of the season. You could see some Dennis Smith Jr. get some real burn. I could definitely see Dennis Smith Jr. slotting in as like a spot starter at some nights, and it's gonna be crazy. Um, we'll see what happens though. Getting back to the win total, the projected wins: 41 wins this season, projected by BetMGM Sportsbook. All the projections are brought to you by them. Um, 41 wins is respectable, and I like how low it is. I think just having AD and Cooper Flag is good for 30 wins, easy. That's just the if Anthony Davis plays 30 games and he can play, I believe Anthony Davis can play at least 30 games. Um, how much did he play last year? He the last time he played less than 30 games was never, but the closest he's ever gotten was his second year in LA, 2021, 2022. He played 36 games. Um, so if 80 can at least play 30 and Cooper can play 30, um, everybody else get you another 10 wins, you can get to 40. And then once you get to 40, sky's the limit. But the same thing I said about the Memphis Grizzlies, and I don't think the, the Mavericks are going to be as bad as the Grizzlies is. The West might be so good. 40 wins might not be good enough to get you home court. It might not be good enough to be a top seed. You might be in the play in, but that's just might be the way things pan out. And yeah, that's it. That was a mouthful. I'm actually really tired after going through all that. Last thing I want to mention here, about the West, because all this news came out after I did my video with the Kings in it. Um, the Kings have continued to amaze me and make me very distraught. Not distraught. I shouldn't even say distraught because I'm not even a fan. I just question everything about them. Um, so like I had said in that video, Keegan Murray had a thumb injury of some variety. He's gonna be out for a couple weeks. Um, and I said how bad I thought this team was gonna be. I thought this team isn't even gonna make the playoffs. Um, I didn't like a lot of the players on this team at all. I think I like some of them, but together I don't like them. They decided to bring in Russell Westbrook for 1 year non-guaranteed contract, and I saw that, and we all knew it was coming, but I still shook my head and I was like, "You're adding Russell Westbrook to this team with these guys? Oh no!" And then the report came out, "Oh, he's gonna come off the bench and Dennis Smith Jr. is gonna start," and I was like, Dennis Schroeder's gonna start. Pardon me, Dennis Schroeder's gonna start. Dennis Schroeder's gonna start. And I was like, oh, okay, I kind of like that more. I think Dennis Schroeder is a better player than Russell Westbrook at this point, and Russell Westbrook is a bench spark plug. I was like, okay, I like that. And then they paid, and then they came out. They announced that they paid Keegan Murray for 5 years, $140 million. And I said, oh my god, what? You're paying your role player because that's what Keegan Murray is at this point in his career. A role player in year four, going into year four, year three, year four, $140 million. A guy who's never made an All Star team, a guy who isn't really that great, who is already injured, like I mentioned, and you paid him $140 million for 5 years. And I was saying to myself after I read that, I was like, man, I hope that last year is a team option or a player option because he might not be on the Kings in 2030. He might not be on the Kings, man. And I started really thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? DeMar DeRozan isn't even going to be in the NBA when his contract is over. Like Keegan Murray's 5 year deal, DeMar DeRozan is going to be doing a podcast. He's going to be on NBC covering the NBA. Like DeMar DeRozan is going to be gone. Zach Levine's gonna be gone. He's not gonna be on this team. Domantas Sabonis is gonna be gone. He's gonna be out of here. And you paid this guy, right? $140 million to be the guy potentially you're gonna build around. The only young guy you're gonna build around. There's no other young guys on this team anymore. I mean, there's like, where is he? Keon Ellis. Literally, it's Keon Ellis and Keegan Murray. And you might be saying, "Oh, what about Devin Carter? What about Devin Carter? Bro's already 23. he's not, he's not young. He's already 23, dude. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Um, yeah, the Kings are in such a weird spot, and if I could go back and I could redo that part of the video, I would shit on them so much more than I did. Because man, oh man, and you have Scott Perry in the front office. For those who don't remember, Scott Perry, notorious New York Knicks like GM basketball operations guy when the Knicks were awful. So Kings fans, I would feel bad for you, but I think you're used to this sort of mediocrity. Um, so yeah, that's it. I just really wanted to talk about the Kings and shit on them a bit more. I'm sorry. um, yeah, that's it. If you want to check out the other videos on the channel, again, I'll put a card in the top right corner for the whole playlist for my NBA 2025-2026 preseason predictions and all that stuff. There will be one more video after this one. It will probably be up on this weekend at some point where I go through all my top teams throughout the course of these videos, and you guys will get a feel for what teams I really, really, really like and dive into them just a little bit. The video won't be too long. There'll also be an NBA GM's question video that the NBA the questions that they always do before the season. I'll react to that, and yeah, NBA season's right around the corner. Um, Stick around. There'll be a lot of good NBA stuff this year. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.